Hello. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Mbali Soke, and I am a lover of all things mental health related. I am very interested in all that stuff. Oh, before we get started, if you do find this video interesting by the end of it, please do consider subscribing. Subscribe! And also do like it so that other people, can see the video. YouTube recommends the video if you like it. So it gives them the idea that other people might like it as well. What else do we Oh, my last video got over 100 views. My last vlog got over 100. Can you believe? I'm so excited. I feel like telling everybody that I meet. Anyway, let's get into today's article. So today we're doing the article stuff again. I just searched for something that has to do with men and mental health in South Africa. I haven't gone through this article, so I just figured we'll go through it together. This one is by SAFMH.org, the South African Federation for Mental Health. I don't know how much do we know about the South African Federation for Mental Health, because I feel like the South African Depression and Anxiety group as a non-profit is quite more popular than the South African Federation for Mental Health. I don't know what exactly they do, or I don't know. I need to do more research. This article is not recent. It's from the 10th of June 2024, and it is titled "A Silent Pandemic: Men's Mental Health." Makes sense, because what a wow. Men's mental health is not my reading. Men's mental health is the hot topic of the month. Yes, in June. Yes, because it's Men's Mental Health Month in June, but also Youth Month, but also there's also Father's Day in June. That's why I mentioned that. There's also Father's Day in June. So there's that. Okay. Unfortunately, it often loses the attention it deserves outside of June. A truth that has detrimental effects on the lives and well-being of many South African men. Oh, these are the Zimbas, Buba. Really? Ah, Uncle, maybe we'll get more later again. Can I please have coffee? Sure. Thank you. While there is a modern movement towards gender equality, many exceptions. Should I be zooming this thing in? Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I can't see with Zaza's on. I still can't. Many expectations placed on individuals in South Africa are still rooted in traditional gender, societal, and cultural norms, says Makubu in 2023. I don't know who Makubu is. While these norms can be a source of great pride and strength, they can also impose expectations that may be detrimental to the mental health of many, both men and women. Men often face the expectation to remain strong and silent in the face of ordinarily you know what I'm trying to say, difficult challenges, leading to some shocking and dangerous statistics. Yeah. Okay. Let's just hash that out real quick. Makes sense. First of all, expectations in general just put on a lot on one human's shoulders, and they do add to the struggle of mental health in general. As much as there has been a good force of trying to take care of both men and women because they are both struggling, but the expectations when it comes to men sucking it up and getting over it are higher than the expectation of the exact same thing for women. Buba, Pom Pom, I can hear your music. What? I can hear your music in the recording. Oh, in 2019, just 5 years ago, okay, so maybe 6 years ago now, right? Because that's 2024. Yeah. In 2019, just 6 years ago, around 13,774 mental health related deaths were reported in South Africa. 10,861 of these deaths, approximately 79% of them, were men. These statistics sits alongside South Africa's ranking in the as the country with the 10th highest suicide rate in the world. That is crazy. We're the 10th highest. Yo, guys, Hakata 79%. Oh man, that is tough. Okay. This ranking is made even more shocking when we recognize that there are 195 recognized countries in the world. Yeah, actually, that that's not right. Out of 195 countries, recognized countries, okay, sure, 10th highest. Yo, that is like not even 50th high. Okay. Suicide is not the only measure of mental health and well-being. According to the World Health Organization, mental health is defined as a state of mental well-being that enables people to cope with the stresses of life, realize their abilities to learn and work well, and contribute to their community. Mental well being as a concept refers to thriving in various areas of life, such as relationships, work, and play, despite ups and downs. It is the knowledge that we are separate from our problems and the belief that we can handle these problems. Okay. Thank you, Pom. You're welcome. I like that they gave us like a general definition of what mental health in general really is about, because ups and downs in life will always happen. Like things will always get a little difficult and then a little easy and then really difficult and then really great. There'll always be that situation, but the belief and the understanding and the hope is that we can handle these problems. The signs and symptoms of depression, stress, and burnout in men are not always in line with what we traditionally expect. Men are often taught to adhere to masculine stoicism, yeah, and fear the stigma of being seen as weak. We know that. Men know that. Women know that. Like, we know that there is a problem with men being weak or looking weak or seeming weak or whatever it is. And even if that's not what they're doing, it's almost the first thing that is looked at. Like, hey, don't be getting weak on me. Like, you know what I mean? As a woman, it's much easier to deal with it than men. It's not expected. So, yeah. This has resulted in harmful coping mechanisms that negatively impact not only the individual, but also those around them. My thing, so one of the things that at the events that we had that I had said there was, if we can take care of a man, if he decides to start a family, he's going to take somebody that complements him really well, and he's going to raise a family with kids that are going to be mentally healthy because of the efforts that he has put into himself, and that community has contributed to his well-being, that he will be able to pass that on, because you can't give out from an empty cup, right? So that means that our communities are built from families. So then communities grow, and even the gents that don't have the wives and kids and whatever, but as brothers, as cousins, as our protectors, as our community members that we are depending on, it's majority men in the CPF groups and the community. What? Can I see? Community Police Forum? I think that's what it's called. Yeah. It's majority men, if not men only. I really don't know any women that are part of the CPFs. So they are protectors and all of that. So they're in the front line of a lot of things. It would really be helpful to be like, let's kind of take care of you while, so that after the front line, you also have somewhere to de-stress without being looked at as weak, instead of them having to then resort to harmful coping mechanisms. Substance abuse also is much higher with men than with any other gender. And like, Okay. Anyway, the belief that acknowledging mental health challenges is a weakness often leads men down a path of destructive behaviors. Yes. These can include alcohol and substance abuse, right? Reckless sexual behaviors, right? Emotional outbursts, yes, and even violence. That's what usually happens. You end up seeing gents showing up in a very violent way, abusing substances, just being detrimental to their physical selves because they're struggling with their mental side of things, and there isn't any way to go with that struggle. So you might as well just sit in your struggle, and then tomorrow you're still expected to be okay. So how am I going to do that? Okay, I need to find something that is going to help me cope, but it's not going to help me cope in the long run. It's just going to help me for the moment so that I can deal with all these other things. But I can't get me something that's going to help me in the long run, because then I've got an extra amount of rejection that I need to deal with first. And at the event, we were talking about ways men can get help without being judged, safe ways that that can happen. You know, them being able to report at a police station about things that they are struggling with, even if it includes gender-based violence, because they do have a big problem with that. There is a big problem with GBV relating to it being against men. There is a big problem with that. It's just not out there enough because they can only deal with it amongst each other. Sometimes, if they have a good group of people that can accept them with those issues. So we're trying to figure out a way of, so how do we do it? How do men do it? Where are there safe spaces for them to say, I'm struggling and help me cope? And then I'm struggling and keep me safe as well. You know, like, how do we, because we're raising boys as kids and looking at trying to protect kids as much as possible. And then, but also protecting the boy child is also not as emphasized as, you know, when you generally, as parents in like events, even if it's like family gatherings, right? Girl parents are generally quite vigilant about where my daughter is at and what's going on. Like, hey, I don't want, you know, at whatever gathering it is, or when it comes to the safety of taking public transport and whatever. With girls, there's a lot of hyper, make sure that they are okay. But the same things that the girl child could meet with is the same thing that the boy child could meet with. You know? There's a lot of cases of men that become serial rapists or killers that things stemmed from them having been abused and assaulted and having no way to take that information, because from get-go there was no one saying, I need to make sure that I keep you safe. I'm going on a rant because my heart is just starting to, every time I get into these things. Okay, poor mental health among men is also linked to a high rate of gender-based violence in South Africa. Oh, okay. The increase in GBV is strongly related to the decline in men's mental health, yes, exacerbated by factors such as unemployment, job scarcity, and the rise in cost of living. Is that not what we just discussed? Make sense? There's a lot that you can do better on. There's a lot of better decisions that you can make after taking care of your mental health. And if men do not have that space to be making sure they're taking care of their mental health, it's going to show off in other ways. So it does make sense to me that their outbursts in other ways of life are probably mostly related to the decline in their mental health and not being able to deal with it. And then you're also dealing with other men within your own space as a man that is struggling with his mental health, other men that are also going through the same thing, and you're saying how, okay, they weren't able to get help, and so I'm probably going to end up in the same boat. So, like, it's just it's a sad cycle. Let's continue. For most of history, men were taught to suppress and manage their emotions. leading many to struggle with emotional awareness and processing. This lack of emotional awareness often results in men feeling disconnected and hesitant to seek help from friends and family or peers, making the journey through mental health challenges extraordinarily lonely and damaging. Oh, I always say this. Mental illness, especially with depression, already makes you feel alone. Even when you're not, with the greatest amount of support that you may have, it already makes you feel alone. And then having nowhere else to go to seek help, not friends, not family, not peers, not colleagues, not nowhere, it makes then your journey of trying to deal with your own mental health in a positive way so much more lonely and definitely damaging. When examining the extent of men's mental health challenges in South Africa, it is evident that we are facing a silent pandemic. Yes. If we cannot create an environment where boys and men feel that sharing, admitting, and dealing with their mental health challenges is not a sign of weakness, but a step toward becoming better and more capable individuals, then we are leaving them to fight in the trenches of a war without support. Oh man, that was so well put. That was so well put. And how unfair is that, to think that we would be, if we're not providing better environments for boys and for men, we're literally leaving them in a whole war situation without any type of support. A huge thank you to Cornelis Johannes Nell for putting together this insightful piece. Oh, okay. He is BPSYC BPSYC or BPSYC honors, guys, okay, honors HPCSA registered counselor. Oh, Cornelis Johannes now, Danko. Help is available. There's the National Suicide Crisis Line at 0800 567 567. This number is free, operates 24/7, and offers counseling in all 11 official languages. We need to work on that because we now have 12 official languages, which include South African Sign Language. And I still don't know where the deaf community goes. I still don't. I still don't know where the deaf community goes when it comes to stuff like this. Okay. Well, that's it with this article. Thank you so much for going through it with me. Please tell me what you think about it in the comment section. I do think it was like a well-written piece, had some valuable information from the World Health Organization and other places, and it came with a nice insightful closing of, can we also be part of the supports that is necessary? If there's any gent that is listening or watching this, I hope you take comfort in knowing that you are not completely alone. In fact, there are people that really care and really want to hear you out and doing whatever it is that they can to show that they're looking out for you. You are not alone. I'll see you in my next video.